The top 5 most depressing classic Who stories. Doctor Who is a pretty fun show normally, even when it's being scary and dramatic. But sometimes, just sometimes, the fun dies down and a story ends with the characters and the audience going, "What the fuck just happened?" So, because I'm in that sort of mood, I hereby present the top 5 most depressing classic Doctor Who stories. 5. The Massacre. The Massacre is a Season 3 Hartnell-era historical that doesn't even have so much as one episode in the archives. It also seems even more unlikely than the other missing pure historical stories to ever get the animation treatment, because, to put it bluntly, it's not exactly a barrel of laughs. Companion Stephen finds himself on his own in historical Paris while the Doctor buggers off to do something or other, and, trying to make friends with the locals, instead finds himself caught up in the religious war between the Catholics and the Huguenots, blissfully unaware that they are all heading for a notorious historical massacre that the Doctor, when he does show back up, refuses to even try to prevent. A dark look at the stupidity and violence of mankind. The Massacre is not exactly one to put on to cheer yourself up if you've just watched Ghostbusters 2016 and are hoping to restore some of your lost faith in humanity. 4. Attack of the Cybermen. Eric Saward was the script editor of the series for most of the Peter Davison and Colin Baker eras, and if there was one thing you could look for with Eric, especially in his own stories, it was downbeat endings that had the Doctor and you going, "Didn't go very well, did it?" Piri actually says that herself at the end of this story, which is actually a massively underrated, kick-ass action story, but doesn't exactly end in triumph for the 6th Doctor. Sure, he helps wipe out the Cybermen, but as with most of Mr. Cheerful Saward's stories, not before a lot of people have died, sometimes futilely and often gruesomely. There are few endings grimmer than the mercenary Lytton, who turns out to be not such a bad guy after all, dying after being left half-converted into a Cyberman and using his last breaths of life to save the Doctor by brutally stabbing the Cyber Controller with a sonic lance, resulting in lots of green goo everywhere. Yikes. 3. The Daleks' Master Plan. Like Attack, this is an exciting and action-packed epic yarn, spanning 12 weeks no less, as the Doctor tries to stop the Daleks taking over the entire universe. But despite being made in the 60s, long before little Eric got his feet under the show's table, this is no less grim and depressing than most of his 80s yarns, with sympathetic characters slaughtered left, right and center, including new companion Katerina, Brett not the Brigadier Honest Vien and Katerina's apparent replacement Sarah Kingdom. It's grim out there in space, folks. 2. Warriors of the Deep. A depressing story on a number of levels. On one level, it's the Eric Saward era again, and while not technically written by him it bears all his hallmarks, including betrayal, futile sacrifices and a bummer of an ending in which everyone dies. There should have been another way, a horrified 5th Doctor says at the end. Sadly, he could also have meant the script and production, which are fucking awful, make him look like a complete tosser and is depressing in a whole different way than those making it were probably hoping for. 1. Earthshock. Like Attack, this is a Saward-penned Cyberman story with tons of action, and rightly regarded as one of the best Who stories of all time. But, again, you probably shouldn't put it on to cheer up a black day, because it's Mass Slaughter City, with 20 innocent archaeologists slaughtered before the story even starts and the body count just rises ever after from there. Earthshock even goes one further than Attack with its notorious ending, where companion Edric makes a futile attempt to stop what he doesn't realize is a historical certainty that can't and shouldn't be changed, and loses his life as a result. The 5th Doctor ends this story just looking completely gobsmacked at how badly this situation ended up. Those who've never seen it before may probably end up wearing the same exact expression. So there you have it. The 5 Who stories to avoid when in the grips of a terminal depression. Enjoy.